Awesome. Hey, everybody. This is our first episode of Galaxies in Peril with the Stars in the Dark crew. Pew, pew, pew. Do we want to do a quick round of introductions just in case anyone's watching this? Great. Um, I'm Mark. I go by he or them pronouns. I've been gaming for quite a long time, and I will be the GM here. This is my first time running a long-term X in the Dark game, so I'm looking forward to seeing how it works. Rich, go ahead.
Hey, I'm Rich. This is probably on my YouTube channel. I use the he, him pronouns. I have been, and Kyle probably mentioned this as well. I have been excited about Galaxies in Peril and kind of been playing a play-by-post of it. And we keep stumbling into things that I didn't understand until we stumble into it. So hopefully it'll help this be better. but but yeah, I'm quite stoked, especially to play with a bunch of Blades in the Dark experts like y'all.
Ooh, thanks, Stephen.
Hi, my name's Steven, and my pronouns are he, him. And yeah, so I've played, you know, uh, a number of superhero games and that kind of stuff. So I'm interested in, figuring out how Galaxies in Peril is going to be different from those. And I think we'll
Yeah,
get in that discussion here shortly. Yay!
awesome. Thanks, Adish.
Yeah, I'm Anders, he, him. I backed Galaxies in Peril, and when it came, I was kind of underwhelmed. I felt like, oh, this is just Blades, and they've changed some minor things. But then Rich started posting when he read about it, and that got me all excited. And yeah, love superhero games, and this will be my first time playing in a long-term Blades or Forged in the Dark game. So that's super exciting.
Oh, awesome. Cool. Thank you. And Kai.
I think I should note that he's GM'd. This is just player side.
Right. You have
It's
been a
not
player, just not a
right. Hi, I'm Kai. I use they them pronouns. I tried something similar to this last year as a one shot. We'll have a link in the doobly doo. But it was way too dark, and so we decided to ratchet that back a little bit. And I'm really looking forward to all this.
Awesome. Same. Yeah, I've my two main superhero games touchstones are I think I've mostly run and played Masks in the last recent, and then the old Marvel superheroes game back in the late 80s, early 90s. So I'm
That
looking
was my
forward to
first game.
seeing how. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, awesome. I
Phase Rip was my first game. Yep.
played the hell out of that. Cool. And I'm excited to see how the sort of blades mechanics interfaces with superpowers specifically. So we'll see how that works when we get to it. Cool. So we were talking about either starting with characters or world building first, and we decided on world building, right? Yes. Awesome. So I think the sort of default template we decided to work from was kind of MCU New York. Is that still good with folks? Cool.
So I have a few questions about that, and that's kind of why
Awesome.
I
Go
wanted
for
to
it.
talk about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is, I've played with people in the past who have problems whenever we play like in a known universe like MCU,
Mhm.
whenever we contradict canon, whenever we
Right.
contradict what's going on. And I wanted to check in with everybody, what happens in that case. Most of us are used to playing Star Wars Saturdays or something like that, where we contradict canon and it's no problem.
Mhm.
But and for some reason in my mind, it seems more pertinent here that we might contradict canon. So what do
Yeah,
y'all think?
especially since it's kind of this is an ongoing media property that will continue to add stuff that may overwrite stuff that we do or vice versa. Personally, I'm okay this being like Earth 616.5 or whatever, but yeah, whatever. What do y'all think?
Yeah, I'm never overly concerned with canon, especially with Marvel. I think because there's so many iterations, and they even if they don't reboot, like they change the characters around. So I'm not concerned about canon. I feel like we're doing our own thing, and we'll take inspiration from wherever we want. And the MCU is a good foundation. But if we realize that now we want things to be this way or whatever, then I mean, I don't. Then I feel like we should do what we enjoy in our game.
So like my first game was we were playing mutants in the X-Men universe that were just alongside and just never part of the main comic books. So, our GM would be like, hey, we're around issue 150. And we're like, oh no, so-and-so's in the hospital. We'll go visit them. And then it's like, let's go on our adventure. And so like it was just there as like scenery and like we could have, basic conversations with the characters that we really enjoy, but then we went and did our own thing. So I always just use, in my mind, when we do these kind of things, I just using them for inspiration, right? Like, I saw them do this once. Do you want to bring that in? No. I think it's a discussion sometimes. But I never care about canon. We could once we make it our own, we're having our fun, and that's what I want is my fun.
Yeah.
I do want to say, you say MCU, and I had, Rich and I had this discussion for the play by post. Do we want to include like any of the original Netflix stuff? Jessica Jones, Daredevil, that kind of stuff. And also, I love the fact that we're like, hey, we're in 616, and it feels just like the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. being like, yeah, we're part of the universe. And they're like, we're destroying S.H.I.E.L.D. And they're like, what do we do with this TV show now? So I feel like, us announcing it means that things are going to go haywire. And I love that too. So.
I love it.
I just want to start off by saying that if anyone says the Hulk is played by Ed Norton, we're going to fight. I'm joking. It's the first
it's clearly Bill
canon joke I
Bixby.
can think of. It's totally Bill Bixby. Come on, it's Lou Ferrigno. Wait, what? Like, to me, I like the idea of MCU being our springboard. So as long as we hold to the Avengers movies have happened, the snap happened, in-game happened, and reversed it. Everything else we just bring in as we want. The movies are the only thing that I don't want to contradict, although we could easily, like, fuck, with the Loki series, they contradicted the original Avengers movie by having the characters survive. So if they could do it, we can too. I feel okay with us working around canon.
Yeah, and about the Netflix shows. I mean, I see you put the characters in the in as NPCs. I really like those shows, even if they weren't all well executed. So I'd be happy to have them, and not necessarily like, yeah, everything that happened in those episodes is canon, but having those versions of the characters is fine.
Yeah, until someone in the movie says Jessica Jones is not a real person, they're the same universe as far as I'm concerned.
I guess what I'm more part of the concern that it comes from me, I don't have any problems with canon or anything like that. Part of the concerns that comes from me is I'm coming from a background of, like, I haven't seen a lot of the any of the Netflix shows. I've seen most of the Disney Plus shows, I think. I'm still a couple years behind on movies. So I guess what I'm going to ask is if I do anything that does contradict or cause some resonance issues with people, so X card me and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, and I wanted to say, like, I think the five of us have, a large overlap in our shared understanding of movies and shows and comic books and all the stuff, but it's not a perfect overlap. So I think we work off that shared base of whatever, and then past canon, if we decide that, or if we say something that contradicts canon and we want to say, like, that's how it was, great. Or if the majority of us say, like, oh, I really like the way that happened, let's go back and make that part of the world. That's cool. We're all really open with information and with the way we play, so it's not like anyone's like holding on to a secret from Amazing Spider-Man 253 or whatever, 251.
I think it would be good to at least announce at the beginning of each episode, like, hey, there's probably going to be spoilers. Watch at your own risk, right?
Yeah, and then going forward, I don't care what happens going forward.
And I think mechanically, Blades has a lot of things going for it with flashback. So if we do something and they decide later, hey, we don't want we want to change that continuity, we can just flash back to it and go through that.
Yeah, he was a clone all the time.
One way this plays into character creation is, do we do we want to do completely original characters? Do we want to do our versions of existing Marvel characters that haven't been introduced yet? Do we want to like pick? Yeah, I'll take that character who was a extra somewhere, was just in the background, and play them. How do we feel about those things? And I don't have a specific position on those, to be clear.
Yeah.
I
It's
would
a really
actually
good
be
question.
excited for us to like say I'm playing Thor or something like that. But I'm also really good with being like, we're gonna be the next, you know, XYZ, you know, the newest iteration of Exterminators or whatever, you know, some group that's been in the past or whatever. Like I'm totally cool with any of that. Especially if we change, like if we want to have like flashbacks or one shots with other characters taking on different roles. But like I love the idea of saying like, because like real recently like Jessica Jones had a 5-issue series called The Variants, and Jessica Jones is from other universes where she's like, I'm Captain America, or you know, I'm the Scarlet Witch, and so that's who she was and stuff like that. Show up and I'm like, dude, just choose a character and mishmash it. Those are fun things to do. I'm up for anything, literally anything.
I like the idea of somebody playing canon characters. I also like the idea of someone playing the multiverse version of so and so you don't feel like you have to worry about canon. I've chosen an outsider, and as soon as I say it, I'm sure you guys will have a billion examples, but I don't know of a whole lot of outsiders from the MCU that fit in the mold of these special abilities. So yeah, that it's not bad. I just as I'm thinking about it just now, like, oh wow, I don't think there's an easy MCU analog for this. It's just interesting. Yeah.
My take on it is for long-term play, I'd rather have a character I can make my own. I chose a picture and put it into the character keeper of a character that I know almost nothing about from Marvel Comics. It's from the Supreme Power comic. Have any of you read that?
I know
Sweet.
of it. I haven't read it. No.
So I've read like the first equivalent of a trade paperback or something, and it sort of is doing DC darker versions of DC characters. So actually, that's a good point. Could we bring in like Superman from another reality? Yeah. So I mean, that doesn't really limit you to MCU characters if you wanted to branch out in that way, Rich.
Cool.
Yeah, and I think now I'm going off of isn't the Supreme thing there, isn't that Hyperion, who's like a Superman analog, but
Yeah.
he's in Marvel, but not really so there are, I mean, if you want to play a Superman character, there's like 3 or 4 different Marvel versions of
So the Supreme Power comics that I've seen, Hyperion is the Superman analog who was raised by the government, so he's very fascist, right? And the Batman equivalent is the one that I have a picture of called Nighthawk, and he's super racist. And the Flash analog is super corporate, and you know they're all I forget about anyway. They're all analogs of DC superheroes, but really, really bad. I'm like, someone had something to say there. But yeah,
That's interesting.
Yeah, but my only caveat with playing existing characters is not worrying about making them match up. Like if you want to make them your own and make them have a completely different background, or not having to worry about, I don't want anyone to worry about having to match up their characters past with whatever canon exists. So I think that's covered in the canon stuff.
Yeah, that works great for me. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, and if you want to bring in anyone from anywhere else, I'm totally cool with that. This is
cool.
This is ours. Cool. So what do we want to say about New York? I guess a good start point is what do normal people, or what do non-powered people think about superheroes, or they believe they exist, I'm sure. What's their opinion of them?
So the things we've already established is the stuff in the movies, right? So we've talked about the snap. So the snap has happened.
Right.
We've also talked about the Avengers movie. So New York was attacked
So we
by
had
aliens, and something we haven't talked about is there was a salvage group in one of the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
Is that do we want to say
Love
that's
that
a
salvage group?
Yeah.
Yes,
Batman.
I very much want that to be true because that's great. Which
And
means that damage control is also a government-run organization. If we're cool, we'll bring that in as well. Which I think is, I love the idea of damage control, like this whole government kind of like Homeland Security, but more supers oriented government thing. I think that's neat.
Yeah, I like that they're from what I've seen of them, like damage control is like not bad, but they're not like super bad, but they are like can be an antagonistic force without just being
they're antagonistic without being evil. I love that.
Yeah,
I think that's great. They were really interestingly used in Ms. Marvel.
Exactly.
I like them in that. I thought it was interesting. You were going to say something, Steven.
Yeah, I'm going to bring something up. We talked about safety tools off screen, but one thing I want to reiterate about that is if there's something that we go into the background of New York City or characters or something like that, that after a session or two is an issue, it's fine to X card that, and we'll go back and we'll fix it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think. Go ahead, Anders.
Just one thing. I think things they have done with the snap afterwards have been, some of it has been kind of weird, especially in the Winter Soldier show. I'd like to have it as something that happened, but not necessarily getting into all the details. It's fine if someone has it as part of their background or whatever, but not like having it as a ongoing concern, because I think it can very easily mess things up and become a very dominant part of the setting. So I'm not saying it shouldn't have happened. It's definitely there in the background, but keeping it in the background rather as an ongoing concern is better, I think.
So you're talking about like plot elements that heavily center on what happens when people got blipped back, or the whole resettlement stuff and all that.
Yeah. I mean, New York, you have kind of a housing market. Like 5 years later, it's not going to be. So not having that, not centering too much on it.
So
that would also help us prevent dovetailing with possible future movie plots or something like that. So
yeah, I played in a completely different game, but it was one of the first games with a new group, and two of the people in the group in real life are lawyers, and just as a thing when we were doing the tableau thing that I think comes from Microscope or whatever, it's like, do include this, don't include this or whatever. We specifically said we didn't want anything dealing with the legal system. We didn't want contracts. We didn't want any of that, because that's what these people do. And so if I were to go a little bit higher up, I would just say don't get in the weeds, right? It can be fun to bring it in, but if instead of saying X card, if I just say, hey, we're in the weeds, we just pull back and say, okay, we're going to move on. And then maybe after we're hey, we can establish this, etc. It was really, not fun for me in that moment. So, just an alternative version of the X card would be just hey, you're getting in the weeds here. So that was a really fun game, actually.
Cool.
So what
later, sorry, I just wanted one little, I have to, Anish, at some point later, not now, but 100% later, I want to talk to you about your problems with the snap, and because I'm really interested to hear about that, but I don't want to take up any more time here.
I don't have a problem with the snap as a story element or anything like that.
The way it was used in Winter Soldier, it sounds like you may have felt like there was
it's they get into things that would obviously have a massive effect on the whole world, and it becomes, instead of being the real world with superheroes, you're now in an alternate universe, and that's kind of the line.
Cool. That's interesting, because when you said the Snap and Winter Soldier, the first thing I think of is how they showed that Yelena, how she survived. I thought on a more personal level, I thought, oh, that's really brilliant. But you're talking about the metaphysical and the whole flag smashers, and you're right. That was a wonky thing, probably exacerbated by the, hey, we maybe don't want to do a pandemic in this storyline, that they had to do a bunch of rewrites, and it ended up not being as cohesive as it could have been. Anyway, done. Thank you very much, Undes, for explaining that. That makes perfect sense to me.
It's fine.
Awesome.
Yeah, so the thing that like we've been talking a lot about canon and stuff like that, or just story elements. The thing that really helps me in this kind of game is tone. Like, how dark are we? How light are we? How humorous are we? How are we sitcom level, where pretty much the end of each story, like nothing's really changed, which is, it can be fun or not. But I guess what I'm trying to say is like, how on-screen deaths and stuff like that, and main characters, and I don't know. I think it's kind of the same. We've been gaming for years now, so I think we know each other. But like, how dark do we want to go? Because I can go pretty dark.
Yeah. Overall, the tone we hit with Stars in the Dark felt really good. It felt like we had a good range there. Yeah. How do y'all feel?
I'm fine with that emotional tone, I guess. But I kind of want my superheroes fairly clean, I guess. Like, no casual killing, and I mean, if a superhero, I mean, like putting them apart, but if you kill someone, it should be consequential and considered, and not like something that just happens, and accidental deaths should be also, I guess, meaningful, and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Not
I'm
putting
into that.
superheroes above morality or legality.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a recent storyline. I haven't read all of it, but basically, Matt Murdock ended up, unfortunately, killing someone, and by his principles, he went to prison. And so the other woman with the size, she took over the Daredevil role for a while he was in prison. So like, that's a very interesting way of saying, like, consequences is just, kind of actually do exactly what we did in our last game and send somebody to prison if they're doing the wrong thing or whatever. But I liked that concept. So Elektra, that's her name. Elektra took over the role.
I also really want to say, death should have meaning. It's a comic book trope that, someone dies and they come back and it doesn't mean anything or anything like that. And that kind of has an issue for me.
Yeah, they're dealing with that right now with the X-Men, because they have this ability to resurrect each other. And like, they're looking at people that when people actually found out, like the rest of the world found out, there were people that were just protesting the heck out of it, and they're like, like, you get to come back to life, but my daughter doesn't. That kind of thing. Yeah. And so even Marvel's dealing with this concept of like, this bizarreness that comes from just resurrections and resurrection.
Probably a little bit off topic, just one of my favorite treatments of character death in Marvel Comics was way back in an Alpha Flight issue, where they're fighting their villain equivalent, and one of the villains had the ability to call future versions of himself to fight alongside him, and one of them got killed, and he just like had a complete existential breakdown. It was amazing. It was my favorite thing ever.
I know exactly when and how I'm going to die.
Yep.
And if I don't want to destroy the universe of the time paradox, I better show up. Wow.
That's wicked. That's really
that sounds like a Masks playbook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
sure. I'm sure it's on itch
The
somewhere.
doomed.
Yeah, that is totally
No,
doomed.
no, there is a Masks playbook that is you're playing a future version of yourself that's come back. I played that playbook at some
Oh,
point,
sweet.
but you don't remember everything about the future. Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Nice.
The future changes every time we make a choice. So,
Yep.
or in some storylines. So,
No fate except what we make.
great.
Interesting.
Richard, do you have something else to say? I thought you maybe said.
No, I think
Okay.
I'm good.
Cool.
Lives matter. I think that's where we're at. So,
Yeah, lives matter. Anything else we want to nail down about the city/world? Also, I guess because of the nature of how the it feels like the tier level kind of zooms out really quickly. Is there anything we want to say about the world/universe at large, or do we want to wait for see what happens as we get to that?
well, what is our original tier described as? Are we do we have to get funding? I mean, I don't really want to deal with a lot of that, but like, are we Jessica Jones level, or are we Spider-Man level, or I don't know.
Good question. My impression is that we kind of default to around that level. But that's totally up for
Okay.
what we want to do. What's fun for us.
Well, then I guess I would just say that like right now we're not, flying to Sokovia to fight things,
Yeah.
right? We're staying inside New York, or our version of New York.
Yeah.
We're
Unless,
ground level.
yeah,
level,
or like a portal opens up or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, cool.
Yeah, that's
Like,
that's one of the things I'm most curious to see, like how it works in play. But yeah, especially since we're playing explorers.
Yeah, one thing that comes to mind is like there was in the earliest issues of X Factor is that basically the original X-Men took over like Apocalypse's spaceship or whatever. And that's where they were living in New York, was at a harbor on their ship that was kind of just in the water. You know, and if you want to continue with them growing into exploring into like Guardians of the Galaxy, it's like, well, I guess this ship can now go somewhere, right? So, also a weird kind of analog is the game Chrono Trigger, where in Chrono Trigger, like at the beginning, you're on foot level. If I can't walk there, I can't get there.
Yeah.
And then you're given a time ship, and at least now you can go in different time zones, but still it's walking there to get there. And then finally you put engines on it and you can fly around. So there are I think there's some good examples of how to like not make the characters ridiculous, but still continue to get broader and broader in your scope.
Cool.
Yeah, I should say that I was the one who pushed for explorers, and that's mostly because I found the special abilities more interesting there. But I mean, that doesn't mean I'm not sure what that means at like a more street level where we would be starting. So
Yeah.
it's not like I thought all of that through. It's just I pushed for what seemed most fun to me. So if we want to switch to detectives because it's easier to do, then that's fine. But, yeah.
Mysteries are just such a thing. If you were to change detectives to like just like block enforcers, that would be one thing. But having to figure out how it is that so and so did so and so is just like,
Yeah.
For me.
Cool,
Same.
cool. Yeah, and sorry, I should remember that Rich doesn't like mystery games.
I'm just bad at them, and it's embarrassing. That's all.
I think explorers is fine.
Yeah, I'm sure we can make it work either way at whatever level.
And we'll fix it. I have a question about the group. So should we talk about characters and what people want to play, or should we talk about like first, or should we then talk about like, are we already a coherent group? Do you want us to have connections? I mean, I think eventually we will all join the explorers and we'll be a part of that team, right?
Yeah, I would push for having some shared history or connections at least. Um, I just watched the first episode of the new Witcher series, and they're doing the like everyone has to fight when they meet trope, and it's just like so tedious.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's up to y'all.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's kind of a thing with Marvel as it's presented these days,
Mhm.
that the characters have backstory, and it's not like you start from the origin and then you move forward. It's kind of, yeah, we're starting 5-10 years into their career, so they have some experiences, that they have met people and that sort of thing. I think
Mhm.
that's
Yeah, or even the level of like tie-ins where what was I thinking of specifically? Like the Defenders TV show, like a lot of the characters had crossed paths before. So even though they
yeah.
weren't a group, like they had run into each other, or even the more recent like Avenger flavor things. It's like, oh, Ant-Man fought this guy in this other movie before. These guys met in this one scene before. So everyone kind of has
Mhm.
a shared history, even if they're not all on the team
Yeah.
right now.
Cool.
But yeah, we can kind of slide into character stuff if we want to from here, if that makes sense. So let's see,
Let's do it.
we have a leader, we have a vigilante, we have an occultist, and we have an outsider. It looks like Stephen, you're the vigilante, right? You have
I am.
you
Yes.
have something to start off with there?
So I put some stuff in just to kind of get my headspace there last night, and it's not anything I'm married to. So and I think so. What I've got right now is I have a character that is more like a detective, maybe some gadgets. I haven't quite figured out powers, but is more of a protector of the city
Mhm.
or of his area of the city. Um, and uh, uh, the stuff I've angled towards right now is moving silently through the night, hiding in shadows, and striking out at uh, evildoers from that direction.
Cool.
Um, so someone mentioned tone, and saying evildoers broke out to me. And we talked about using the same kind of tone that we had used in Stars in the Dark. However, in Stars in the Dark, we were bad guys,
Yeah.
right? Um, our superheroes are. I think Anders, you said you had a preference for uh, superheroes that are heroes,
Mhm.
correct?
Yeah, and I
They can
think
they can be human, but they're trying to do good.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's my general
Yeah.
preference, and I think this may be more of a me thing, because I've noticed that I tend to play those characters even in games where maybe they're supposed to be for bad guys. So that may be, don't, I mean, I don't mean that we should be goody two shoes. Not everyone should be like Steve Rogers or that sort of thing. I'm fine with characters who use like underhanded means and that sort of thing. Um, and I think our lines and veils cover most of the stuff anyway. But
Mhm.
um, I guess I prefer if we're at least trying. We're our goal is to do something useful or good or at least interesting, rather than just enrich ourselves,
Mhm.
and that our methods are at least like, I mean, if you go by Hawkeye and Black Widow, they're not exactly keeping their hands clean kind of
Mhm.
people, but they're not malicious, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Everyone has a reason that they're using their abilities uh, for some good purpose instead of for their own selfish or bad purposes.
Yeah.
I want to fight for a brighter future, and
Mhm.
I want to hopefully be an example of that to others. That's the way I want to be a hero in this one. I may have faults, I may slip, I may make mistakes, I might get mind controlled, but which in other games I would hate, but like comic books, it's like I understand it, right? Like it's just there long enough to make something happen. So I don't know where we are on mind control, but I'm actually okay with it personally. But anyway, like mistakes happen. You don't always succeed, but Spider-Man keeps trying. Spider-Man keeps trying. So
which is a different flavor and tone than Blades in the Dark has. Does Galaxy and Peril, from the brief look at it that I've seen, it doesn't appear that it's any different, that it would lead us in a darker direction. It looks like it will support this heroic type play.
Yeah, it looks like the missions or whatever the versions are here's something wrong, go fix it.
Okay, good.
Or here's something bad, prevent it, something like that.
Which would be interesting to see him play, because Blades definitely drove us to do something that was not heroic. It'll be interesting to see what this does. Yeah,
and I'm really excited to see how the mechanics hit that.
Yeah.
So did anyone else have any strong hits about where they wanted to go with their characters?
I think I'm playing a Skrull.
Awesome. I love that.
That's amazing.
don't think no longer. Think no longer. Embrace.
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Amazing.
I'm very happy. Yay, I'm so glad, because I thought I better throw this out here and make sure that somebody doesn't go, no, gross.
No, it's
now,
amazing.
Caveat, this Skrull is not ever going to pose as someone else to have romantic relationship with anyone, or will never consummate. Like maybe they will appear as someone, but I'm never going to move to any kind of assault ever. I'm just saying that off the top, so you don't have to ever worry. Is Rich stupid enough to do this?
Yeah,
he's smart enough to not
squarely under the sexual assault veil. So that's
it certainly does.
Yeah.
So I have a question about. I don't know enough about the background of the scrolls. I know that they can change shape. That's natural, but I think there's a super Skrull that has powers. Are you going to have super Skrull powers, or do you want to find that out during play?
I want powers.
Okay.
So I guess I'm a super Skrull.
Okay. And I don't know the background for all that, so I don't know how that works.
Yeah,
I
and that can be
think
from
the
anywhere
thing with the Super Skrull is that he could not just copy appearance but copy powers. I know I know he fought the Fantastic Four and he was like, yeah, I have this arm, that's the thing, and this arm, that's Mr. Fantastic.
I'm a toy. Please buy me. Absolutely.
Amazing. Yeah, I totally remember that.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it's perfect. If there are superheroes on Earth, there will be superhero Skrulls. So you're a Skrull with some cool powers. Or you copied someone's powers or did something.
Yeah, and that can be anywhere from inherent powers to got experimented on to have cool equipment. That's whatever feels good for you.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, I love it.
What kind of enemies are we fighting?
That's an excellent question. We don't know yet. I think that depends on. I think I'm planning on basing that on the makeup and tenor of the group.
Okay.
So I generally roll that.
Because when I'm thinking about like magic or whatever, there's in my mind there's this idea of like I've got limited magic or I display limited magic because we're just fighting like human criminals or maybe other villains or whatever that are also human to begin with. But if you're like, oh yeah, we're gonna have Blade and vampires, which I love, fine. Or Mephisto's going to take part in this or something like that. That would help me figure out what kind of occultist I want to have. And maybe you're just wanting the opposite, where I just say, this is the occultist I have, and you're going to build around it. Is that what you would?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think with the scaling of the game, like your powers don't, you don't get experience points and get better that way. It's the same as any blades. So like even if you were Sorcerer Supreme, we're starting off at street level, like we're going to be dealing with that however that fits with your character.
Although, so I
Yeah.
saw something mechanically in there. So correct me if I don't have this correct. We start off spending resilience, which I think is the equivalent of stress,
Yeah.
in order to use our powers. But if
Mhm.
you critical on that,
Yep.
then that ability no longer requires stress to use.
I believe that's correct. Yeah.
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 So that provides a new growth path for powers,
Yeah.
which is interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And it feels kind of Masks like, in that you can have Hawkeye and Thor next to each other and they are still equally narratively effective.
Hmm.
Yeah, and like when running supers types of games, or even other types of games, I will often find myself kind of falling into the Marvel, the villain is just the hero, only bad and maybe a different color. And we will see how that goes here. But in Masks games I've run, it's been a really interesting thing to see, like, oh, we have we have a sorcerer, and then every other style of person, and they'll go off and fight their guy and see how the rest of the team fights against something that they're not used to fighting against. So we have the big fighty guy against a the super science guy, or we have the magician going up against Wolverine or whatever. So that's always interesting to see too. I don't know if that answers any questions. Adish, what were you thinking for your leader, if anything?
I don't know. I was thinking, part of the reason I picked the leader was that I wanted to play a physical character,
Mhm.
and they had the most special abilities related to that. So that was a very basic thought process. So I'm not sure.
Are you thinking physical as in like punchy fighty guy, or physical as in like I have powers that can affect the world in a concrete way?
Punchy, fighty, or at least like
Cool.
physically powerful, I guess, or like powers. Yeah, like
Yeah, awesome.
strong, tough, that sort of thing.
Badass.
But I'm kind of thinking one idea I had, and I'm not sure if it's a good fit for this character, but a character I'd like to see is like one of the kids in Love and Thunder who got temporary powers, but got to keep some of them. Like that sort of, like
Nice.
an Asgardian kid who got to keep some of that
Yeah.
power.
Oh, that's fun.
Also take a look at the Strange Academy comics. I believe two Asgardians were and a Frost Giant, I think, were brought in to learn magic and stuff like that at the Academy. If you want some like visual examples of young Asgardians and stuff like that.
That's cool. I'm playing a giant in, or the last giant in one of Lowell's Apocalypse Keys games. So I think I'll do something different here, but
Yeah.
otherwise that would have been very cool.
Yeah, it's really funny because they're always in a classroom, and in the background you always see this giant eye at the window because they're just kneeling down and like being in class by being outside. It's just so fun to look at.
I love it. Yeah, and maybe if you don't have a strong feel for like who they are, maybe start by, because we can drop in a simple power, a difficult power, and a borderline power. Maybe drop in some things there that you might feel might fit for you, and work backwards off of that.
Yeah, but I think I'll work from that idea, see if it works, and if it doesn't, I'll just backtrace a bit, and we'll see.
Awesome.
One of the things I saw during the character creation in the playbooks was, if you don't know what you're doing, you can leave your power stuff or all your stuff blank,
Yeah.
and we can figure it out during play. So if you're not
Absolutely.
sure, I'm not married to it, yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
I'm a super big fan of that.
I think I have a wicked idea for like there's not a complete character concept, but um like I don't know, I was a like a 12-year-old, 13-year-old or something like that, and um somebody or some bodies gathered me and other children, and they were going to use us to like bring someone back to life via magic or whatever.
Yeah.
And right as the ritual was happening, the snap occurred, and I was the only one left. So everything just
Oh.
flows into fluid in me. So I've got what 5 years or something experience with whatever was reincarnated in me or whatever.
That's
So
fun.
Nice. Yeah.
Character type, origins. Do we have ideas for origins? We got knowledge for the silence so far.
Mine would be alien then, I guess.
Yeah.
I based it off of a character from I don't know if you've ever seen the movie The Specials. It was James Gunn's first superhero film.
Oh, I
Um,
don't think I've seen one. Yeah.
there's this character, she can like teleport to a dark dimension and then teleport out. So basically she can teleport, but she does it by going through her dark dimension, and like she can like command demons or skeletons or something like that.
Nice.
But her character concept was that she was part of the volleyball team, and the volleyball coach had this ritual where he had to bring together all these virgins to get what he wanted, and she woke up and grabbed the knife and stabbed him. Well, it turned out he was a virgin too, so she completed the ritual and got the powers or whatever. So that's what I was basing it off of.
Hilarious.
That's wild. Alien makes sense for a Skrull, so I'll choose Alien as origin.
Yeah.
I also want to play with the outsider-ness of them. So yeah.
What might be a fun what would the like Skrull profession be? Like, I guess why are you here? Like what brought you to New York in the condition that you're in?
Gosh, that's a great question.
Yeah, like why are you hanging out with these folks instead of doing Skrull stuff?
Yeah, I don't know. It it could be that they have a mission that they're blowing off. It could be that somebody saved them.
So I have a question. So both Kai and Anders mentioned children, like they are younger. Are we a youthful team?
I mean, I'm not set
Well,
on playing a very young character necessarily. It was just that idea. And I mean, Love and Thunder is a couple of years ago now anyway. So,
Yeah.
But maybe, is that interesting, or do we want to stay away from that?
well, also Asgardians age weirdly, so
True.
True.
I just heard, a connection between a couple of the characters, and I wanted to toss it out to the table to say, hey,
I'm cool with it, but I
Yeah.
don't want to force it on people.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is the team that we're looking for something like, the Teen Titans or Young Avengers or something like that, or
Right.
Masks,
Yeah.
right? Which is Masks is all about the youth growing up. Or are we playing as adults where we kind of know what we're doing and we have some experience?
But you are one of your powers is being rich. So how does that how do you see that fitting in with your character concept?
So I was laying into a bunch of tropes, and
Mhm.
I've been taking some notes about powers. And I see that as a way that either he was able to get gadgets or create gadgets, Iron Man or something like that, or deal with medical experts who could enhance his physicality. And that's how his powers came about. That's how I see that right now.
Do you think that you come from a basically the legacy were anyone else in your family doing super stuff, or are you disconnected from them, or did you are you using?
I don't have an idea for that yet.
Yeah,
I
doing
could
it without
definitely
their.
play into that. And it's
Yeah.
the reason I asked about, are we youthful? Because, for example, um, you know, the reason I'm a part of this group could be because this is sort of my training grounds. I've
Mhm.
trained enough with, if I am a legacy, I've trained enough with my parents, I've gone through a certain amount of training, and now it's time for me to go out on my own in my first group and do that. Or
Or are you
it could,
sneaking out at night to hang out with your degenerate friends?
or something like that. And whenever you were asking Rich about his scroll background, this could be
Mm,
this is part of his training background, or he's been sent on a mission or something like that.
interesting.
I was just, yeah.
Young characters is also that works well with being low tier.
Yeah.
Like we don't have a lot of experience, a lot of resources to begin with, and that so that it makes sense.
Yeah. Rich, you're running a long-term Masks game
Mhm.
set in the MCU, is that right?
I will be. Yeah.
Is that too much of an overlap if this Blades game, long-going Blades game, overlaps with youthful superheroes in the MCU?
It could.
Maybe
It
it'd be better
could.
if we were established as adults,
Now,
or
one thing.
established in our own way, not necessarily a youthful teen.
It might avoid some overlap, but I always like young heroes, so it's hard for me to say don't.
Kai, what were you gonna say?
I was going to say, like, if we didn't want kids, which is perfectly fine as well, like I could pull a Cable and be returning to stop something and be the older version of this person that,
Mm,
you know, they lived their life and now they've come back to correct things or,
mm.
prevent something from happening or something like that. And so that I can be an adult with still being part of the local timeline.
Although I think it's fine for this group, this superhero group, to have children and adults and a mix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I think this game of a lot of the games that are out there supers wise seems like it would work pretty well with mixed age, which is fun.
I think for powers, it's saying you can write 1 in per difficulty during character creation. Is that correct?
Let me see. There's a PDF reference that does a pretty good job walking through.
Oh,
I
okay.
think,
I've just been looking for the book.
fill in your powers. Detail your character's power set. Use the actions you. I think you could, like, at one point I remember us saying, like, you can list as many powers as you want,
Okay,
but then
cool.
you gotta
Awesome.
group them or something.
Right, right.
You'll write in 1 learned ability per difficulty level.
Learned ability. Okay.
And the learned ability is where you, I think, spend what's it called? Resilience, and it just happens.
Yeah, let me take a look at that. Learned abilities.
There's in the PDF page 81, it talks
Yeah.
about powers and learned ability. But I haven't read all of it.
Wait, the
So
page 51? Did you say
Uh,
5-1?
8-1.
8-1.
Oh, okay. There we go.
So I figured out who I'm a host to. It's not a character I'm familiar with, but I've got a Marvel Unlimited subscription, so I can just go and read up all about her. But she's the son of Hellstrom, the daughter of Hellstrom, Satana Hellstrom.
Oh, yeah,
And,
yeah.
and she's been in superhero groups before. So
Nice.
she's not completely, but I don't have to be as big boobited as her. That
don't
is
have to be, but you can choose to be a big bigot.
well. What
So
I was
one of the
thinking,
things I really go ahead.
I,
Oh, go
I
ahead.
was gonna say one of the things I was thinking of is like I'll find like an actor that is my character or whatever, but like sometimes when like she takes over, then I would look like her, right? So I could do both boobs and not
Neat.
boobs. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, so I think you're right. Learned abilities are specific actions. They answer the question, does your character know how to do that yet? They're the mechanic by which your character grows. Until they've learned an ability, it's difficult to do. So if you have a learned ability, which you'll start off with one of each tier there, those are things you can just do. And then the other ones cost 1, 2, and 3 resilience, is what I'm understanding.
So let me state that again to make sure I understand. We will have 3 abilities that will cost nothing. They are mastered abilities, one from simple, one from difficult, and one from borderline. Any
That is
other
my
abilities that
understanding.
we have should go under the area where we have simple, difficult, and borderline. And those will cost resilience. They are not mastered at this point.
Right.
Okay. And we just use a judgment call to determine whether or not simple or a power is simple or difficult or something
Yeah,
like that.
that's how you feel, where you feel
Okay.
that character is with that.
And I assume, for general skills, let's say, for example, I say my guy has athletic skills. Well, athletic skills is very broad. So it'll be like, we'll put, okay, athletic skills, maybe simple as punching, maybe jumping across buildings is difficult, and so on. We'll fit it into those different tiers.
Yeah, I think that
So,
the powers are specific things that you can do. So,
okay,
if I was like a fire guy, I want to be like shoot fire bolts. Maybe a difficult one would be like you generate flame to fly with, not
perfect.
just like fire powers.
Yep, perfect.
Yeah, and of course there can be added to and whatnot as we need.
So for a scroll, I just want to check in. Are we cool if I say look like anyone they've met? Are
Yeah.
we cool with that being okay? A simple
Yeah, for
scroll,
sure.
simple power for them. Okay.
so not somebody you've seen on TV. You actually had to have met them.
For simple, I was thinking,
Yeah,
met
yeah.
them,
Or
Right.
you could
smelled
just say
them.
studied.
Just from the waist up.
I'll note that under the assigning action dots, the ones that come with the playbook are recommendations and not.
Oh, so you don't end up with 7 total dots?
Oh,
You
you
will
will
end up
have
with 7
7.
total,
You have
yeah.
7 total dots, but the 3 that are assigned from the beginning, you can move them if you want to.
Oh wow.
Gotcha.
They're recommended.
Okay.
Thank you.
Because I was, which is good for me because that Mingle 2 didn't feel quite right for me, so I'm happy to move one of those.
Thank you.
Just a
That's good
heads
to
up in case people didn't realize it. I went ahead and filled in everybody's links to get the picks in from the
Awesome.
other sheets. So as soon as people are updating their stats, you should see it pop in on your individual tab.
Cool.
I was going to ask a question about so I looked at XP triggers and I think I wrote them down in my notes section. And the last one is in common with Blades, which is struggled with issues from trauma. And we don't start out with a trauma,
Right.
so we should but we had discussed during Stars in the Dark starting out with a trauma for that XP trigger and taking an additional special ability. Do we want to start out from flat? That's my preference. But
The
I
I
want
would
to
say
reason
start
take
off from flat. Yeah.
The reason we talked about that in Stars in the Dark was to catch up a little bit the players who came in with new characters. They also got some extra dots and that's good.
Yep.
So I don't think we need it.
And it would be good to figure out Galaxies in Peril from the start,
Yeah.
right? Not
Yeah.
Yeah, and that pushes you to get trauma in order to get experience and so on.
Oh, there was a Hellstrom TV show.
Oh, what?
Yeah. I couldn't make it 10 minutes in. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it got better later.
I should also probably watch the what's the guy's name with the brown trench coat?
Harry Dresden.
No, I think like the DC version
Constantine?
of him. Yeah,
Oh,
that's right.
Constantine. Yeah, Constantine.
Yeah. Maybe I should watch that too for some inspiration.
That
Yeah,
It's
movie.
it's fun.
great. It's great.
Yeah.
The show, I really liked it.
The TV show and the movie. I like the movie.
They're different animals, but yeah.
Mhm.
They are. I like the movie quite a bit. There was a lot of hate towards it because Keanu Reeves didn't fit with the comic book image of John Constantine.
Yeah.
But the Constantine TV show was fantastic as well. And I think that actor might have guest starred in.
As Constantine. Yeah. He shows
Ooh.
up
Was
in
it
a
in
couple seasons of Legends of
Fields?
Tomorrow.
Legends of Tomorrow. Okay.
Huh.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Kai, you could also look up Magic, Colossus's little
Yeah.
sister. She has a similar power set, at least. Like
Yeah.
I would
dimensional
love if you
travel.
guys know each other and you have a tie to Limbo as part. That would be fucking cool. But don't feel like you have to.
Okay.
But Anya Taylor-Joy played played
yeah.
her in the
Yeah.
movies, so.
I have
I
a playbook
thought that was a good
question.
movie. And
I
it
liked
had
it.
its thing. Yeah.
Did you know she's Argentinian?
No.
Wow. No, did not.
So YouTube popped up this video. Oh God, we're doing some recording. We're talking about YouTube. Never mind. But yes, Taylor Joy. Yep. But basically, the video was like movie stars that you didn't know spoke Spanish, and she was in this interview. She's like, I can't believe I'm art like the focus of so much adulation from Argentinians, and it's because she's from Argentina.
I have a playbook question, which is where are you guys putting your mastered powers? Because there's a power section for general stuff, then
Mhm.
there's simple, difficult, and borderline, which require resilience to be spent. But I
Maybe
don't
you
see a
just
place.
highlight them in a different color.
Okay.
Oh, I think in my head canon, the mastered go above the word mastered, the borderline go above the word borderline, and I think I just did the boxes wrong.
Oh, okay, I see that.
So like
How-
simple should go on rows 20
yeah,
through
because there's no cost
24.
either way, so it doesn't matter which tier they're in.
Okay.
How would
Sorry.
But as time moves
Yeah.
on and we get more criticals, those powers that are on row 20 through 23, it seems like would grow. Right?
I
Yeah.
think they do.
So in
we'd have to-
2023, that's where your mastered ones will go, or learned ones, or whichever they are, and then we just have to expand that list as they get learned.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I might
that totally makes sense.
I might move some of these around just a little bit so that I'm adding mastered at the bottom.
Mm.
Mastered skills
mastered
at
at
the
the-
bottom.
Okay, but where
mas-
floats your boat, man. If
Yeah, I would say put mastered at the top because those are the things that like you can do without. Those are just like the things that you do all the time because you
Okay.
don't have to spend for them. They're more like things that define your character a little bit more.
I think I'll have to read up on the power stuff because I
same.
am completely confused. With
So
everything
it sounds like
that.
the way the powers are going to work is that you just choose the things that you choose the things that you can do. So
Yeah.
shoot firebolts, punch
Yeah,
through
yeah,
steel,
yeah.
whatever.
The general stuff.
Or the specific actions that you can
The
do with your
specific.
powers.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you distribute them, the things that you want to start doing in simple, difficult, and borderline, depending on how difficult you think they are for you, and you'll pick
Cool.
one of each of those to have already learned. So those will cost no resilience. And I'm not sure if they are, because it says take one from each tier and learn them, but I'm not sure if it matters what tier they're in once you've learned them, since they don't cost. I think I need to do a little bit more reading on that part.
I think the reason that they suggest getting one from each tier is so that you don't start out with 3 simple or 3 very easy
Yeah.
things. That way you have
That makes
something big
sense.
you can do, something middle you can do, and something small you can do. Yeah.
That totally makes sense.
Because from what I understand, and now I'm going by the game terminology, your
Mhm.
powers are like the broad categories of what you can do, and your learned abilities are these specific.
Specific things. I think you're right. Yeah.
because they have examples of powers as super strength, telepathy and telekinesis, healing factor, flight, energy absorption, magnetism.
Yeah.
And those are clearly the broader categories.
Right. And then the symbol, yep, identify. Yeah, you got it. I think you got it right.
Cool.
How would y'all feel if the person that got had Satana put into her was also like a mutant or something like that? So she has two different power sets. Is that like beyond what we're looking for here, or is that cool? Just out of curiosity.
I like it.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
whatever.
I mean that's how magic is, right? Like she can teleport by
she's
the mutant power.
Yeah.
She's a mutant. She was kidnapped by Mephisto or something and raised in limbo. So yeah.
Yeah.
So she learned magic.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. She's one of my favorite characters in the Midnight Suns computer game.
Man, if I had like that'd be the first game I'd buy if I had money. It looks so much fun because I already love the Arkham style games. Anyway.
Wow, now I've confused myself. Where are we putting the mastered powers? Above the word mastered?
You don't
I'm so
master
sorry.
powers. You master,
Oh no, I think I see what you're talking about. So the boxes with the bold outlines that have simple, difficult, borderline, and mastered, those are labels at the bottom, and the powers are going above them. Is that a correct reading?
I think so. I think so.
And we can put the labels at the top if that works better. Or yeah, I understand the confusion for sure.
Yeah.
So we put the simple ones in the.
I don't know who made this character keeper, but they suck. Because I can't understand what they were thinking. Idiots.
But yeah, basically there's 4 boxes: simple, difficult, borderline, and mastered. However you want to label those is great.
Cool. So there's currently no spot for writing the broad powers, but maybe we can put that somewhere.
Yeah.
Cool.
There's a small section for notes underneath all of that. I moved my XP triggers there, but I think it might work just as well for broad powers.
There's a hover over by the XP as well, Stephen. But
yeah.
I know it's easier to just read it when it isn't.
Thank you. I did not
You're
see
welcome.
that. And, it's one of those things I kind of want that to be in my face all the time.
I get you.
Yeah.
I get you.
Yeah.
Oh man, one of my triggers is addressing a challenge with logic. That sounds.
Ooh.
That sounds
You're
wrong.
in trouble.
You're thrust into leadership.
Oh, how disappointed you shall be.
I'm just pretty much copying Skrull power set from the Marvel wiki. They're
Works for me.
good and what I wanted anyway, so there you go.
Yay. Where's your do you have a fortress? Did you choose fortress?
I did not. Because we're
Okay.
going to play in New York, and while I liked your suggestion, I don't want to do a thing where my motivation is to not be in New York with you guys. So I'm
Right.
gonna hold off on Fortress, and it's kind of like how I was joking with Kai when we were doing powers for our play-by-post, and Kai chose I nullify other people's powers, and I'm like, oh, so you don't want a supers game? And Kai was like, oh, that's a good point.
Let's see where.
I was looking at the professions and was kind of thinking bodyguard, but then it would make sense for me to be guarding someone, and I'm not sure any of the characters fit in with that.
You could make it an NPC.
True, but then
I was thinking about taking small business owner. It could be a bar. You could be my bouncer.
That would be amazing.
True.
You don't have to. I just thought I'd throw it out there.
Oh, it's cute. I like it. I've picked bodyguard for now, and we'll see.
Don't ever fall in love. Okay, just don't.
Oh, the conditional formatting is messed up with
For what?
Mm.
Oh no.
the colors, the color change on the special abilities that I just added because it would be. I thought it would make it more clear which ones you picked or not.
Oh yeah.
Not-
Oh, I have faith you can fix it. For
Yeah.
somebody else, I try to jump in and fix it, but since you're the master of this, you get it.
it gets completely messed up as soon as you start cutting and pasting
Yeah.
because it's ranges and they overlap and it's just bleh.
Yeah, I had a heck of a time, and I didn't. Yeah, I could have done more sanity testing on it.
You want to go ahead and pick a friend and a rival too while we're doing that?
I know who Arrival is. It's Ghost Rider.
Love it.
Although I think there's like a regular one and a spacefaring one. I'm not sure what's going on with that.
Mm.
I'm gonna change. I'm gonna take as a rival Antonio the Hive Mind, but change the Antonio to Swarm. I remember Swarm from Spidey and His Amazing Friends, and
Nice.
that's what I want. Fritz
Love it.
von Meyer. There we go. It's in Marvel Wiki, and it is a thing. Swarm. Swarm.
Oh my goodness, what is going on?
And then I think the last bit is labeling at least one downtime clock, which is a cool thing that I am not 100% sure how it works yet, but it looks neat.
I think it might be to give you hints about like what kind of things we want to look into. Yeah.
Yeah, and like as you fill it in, then you can kind of cash them in for bennies.
So what I put down for that last night was hunt down the cyber thief that shut down the hospital.
Nice.
Okay.
And one can be personal, and then one can be tied to like the team or a relationship within the team or something like that, or they can be whatever.
I'm just so excited about this right this minute. So cool.
Yeah. I have to check in on my car at the shop. We want to take a little break, and we'll
Sure.
come back. Pew, pew.
So before we go into teams, I have a question about the different powers.
Yeah.
It's simple is 1 resilience, difficult is 2 resistance or resilience.
Mhm.
Borderline is something that you're not sure you can actually do. Is that right? So
Yeah,
it's 3 resistance? Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I had that right.
yeah, and it feels like those are more like thematic or narrative than it's just they cost different. So you could be able to fly through the sun simply and have a difficult time making an omelet. I don't know.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and I definitely want to like do a little bit more like I have an understanding of it, but I want to do a little bit more study to really, and I'm sure we'll get more understanding as we do it and play. All right, got some explorers. Choose a team type. Did it. So are you taking the are you doing the small business owner bar thing? I think that sounds great.
Yeah,
I
sounds
love
good.
that idea. How do so we have a bouncer? How do the other two want to fit into that whole?
So I consider myself a protector of my area of New York City.
Mhm.
And I think your bar is in that area.
Cool.
That sound okay?
Nice. Yeah, sounds great.
Well, as you guys may know or may not, I generally cannot move forward with a character until I've gotten the perfect image. So now that I've found my perfect image, I'm going to try to catch up to all of you all.
Amazing.
If you're starting a bar, I would love for that to be like the front for my sanctum, like where I do the magic stuff.
Mhm.
If that
Awesome.
Sounds awesome.
okay.
Fantastic. All right. Cool.
Rich, I have a question about that. Do you know that someone else is using your bar to do that kind of stuff?
Yes.
Which is more interesting to you? Okay.
So in my
Yes.
yeah.
Steven, is your microphone up or something? I think the sound is a little weak.
Yes.
There we
Is
go.
that better? I was very quiet. So I
Oh,
was
sorry,
unsure.
Steven, not Rich.
Steven.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool, thank you. I mean, maybe the bar is a general like occult people
Ooh.
hangout. Does that make sense?
Well,
Or is that
Mhm.
something you don't want?
Oh, okay.
Yes. Maybe it's a coffee bar called Neutral Grounds.
I also saw recently Human Bean
Mm-hmm.
at a coffee shop. I thought that was cute.
Neutral Grounds is from a Fate game.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So I think what you're saying is this is a place where people meet where maybe nefarious people or something like that meet to do stuff, which would put you on the radar of the government group that cleans things up and makes sure all of that kind of stuff.
Damage control? Yeah, yeah.
Damage
Love
control.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a hangout for interesting people. What do we feel like our initial reputation is? Ambitious, brutal, daring, honorable, professional, savvy, subtle, strange, loyal.
Let's take brutal off the list completely. Like,
Yeah, that sounds fun. That sounds fair. It sounds strange, but
Yeah.
I'm up for whatever you are.
I'm into
I would-
strange.
I like lucky. Is there a lucky one?
Ooh. There's not one on the list, but no reason.
I'm just
we
saying,
can't have
like,
stuff.
it basically is like you guys don't really necessarily have like developed your skills, but you seem to keep surviving. So good on you. Is the
Well,
way I
and even how some of you gained your powers is kind of lucky to begin with.
You just haven't
It's
attracted the
true.
attention of the wrong people yet.
Lucky is good if we're picking from the list, and I think strange is
Yeah,
is
strange.
most
Strange.
fitting.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah.
start with strange, and we can understand as we go forward. Cool.
So I need y'all's help since this is so integral to the setting. I have a modest space to work where you invent or craft arcane, blah, blah, blah. Your sanctum has one of the following: an assistant, an artificial reality for testing, a collection of ancient tomes, a relic, a mystical prison, a small portal to another dimension, runes of power, apothecary, or other. Now, as explorers, like a small portal to another dimension sounds really cool, but that's not what that takes us out of New York. So do any of those appeal to y'all for like what is going on in my portion of the bar?
I think I could make any of those work. So
Yeah, same. Pick the one
Uh,
you
All of
most
them
likes.
sound
Where
question for you: is it in the attic or in the basement?
Oh, it's in a house.
Or
Okay.
I mean, is it on the second floor of the coffee shop, or is it in the storage rooms?
I like the second story. I was thinking we'd have like
Nice.
a hangout room as one half of the second story, and the other
Awesome.
half is the place, the door.
Love it. Love it.
I just recently finished watching Wednesday, so maybe it's one of those that has the big rounded window. Love that.
Little
in
terrace.
Wednesday. Oh, so good.
Oh, you mean like the rounded window in Doctor Strange's in the
Yeah.
in the
Yeah,
Marvel
also
universe?
yeah,
Yeah,
and Doctor
yeah.
Strange's. Yeah.
Totally stole it from Wednesday.
I was thinking like mystical prison would give us a reason or some way to deal with if we're like looking for weird, dangerous creatures or that sort of thing?
Are you saying
Mhm.
that we're playing Ghostbusters and I have a big Twinkie?
Maybe.
Tell 'em about the Twinkie.
Not dangerous at all.
Mystical prison it is.
Amazing.
We have a demonic Otis. We have a
Oh.
demonic Otis who's supposedly trapped in there, but can get out and occasionally comes out just to hang out and drink coffee. And
Oh, this is so good. Gonna highlight you, make you bold. All right, now I've got to choose the energy stuff that I have control over. It says one of the choices could be techno, but geez, I'm really into progressive. Oh Lord. So the picture I took is a Bacalo, which is, based off my shirt, you should understand I love Bacalo a lot. But it's actually Wolfsbane. But I love the fact she has like her cross like fully into the picture. Sorry, like it's obvious and stuff like that. So I was just thinking, Wolfsbane from another dimension or another Marvel 617 or whatever. Would y'all be okay with that?
sure, that sounds awesome.
Okay. Well, then I'm gonna have like mystical powers and then like werewolf powers.
Cool.
Oh, I'm excited.
Whereabouts are we? Find the map here.
We're in Hell's
Factions
Kitchen.
tab.
There we go. Marvel's Manhattan. Where in Marvel's Manhattan are we going to be?
Are we in Manhattan? Really? Could we be in Queens near Spider-Man?
No,
We could.
Man.
We could be in Queens.
okay. If we're gonna be near, I just want to be near some Marvel shit. That's all I ask.
Oh, sure. The Queens is special to me because I've got some friends that live there, John Stravopoulos and Terry.
Also, where all the
In Fort
grandios are.
Hill.
Neither of them are part of Marvel. So
Indeed. So they have a cute dog, but yeah, wherever y'all want to go.
But if we've got some like actual noteworthy Spider-Man stuff, I'm open to it. I really like how full some Marvel, but it's also very comic booky, and we're saying MCU. So I'll remove my.
Yeah, Manhattan's also like nice and dense, so there's a lot of stuff per square foot happening.
Yeah, I was thinking we probably shouldn't be close to the Sanctum Sanctorum because maybe
There's a lot of overlap there.
Yeah, and it's interesting if we have contrasting people nearby, like we're doing the mystical crap and they're doing something different, which fits well with the spider people. It could also fit well with the defenders. The hand is kind of mystical, but also there's
also
they
kind of
deal
not
with a lot of other stuff.
Yeah. Also, Upper West Side, Upper East Side, Harlem is totally unclaimed. or Greenwich Village. Greenwich Village looks like it too. It's totally untaken.
True.
Or the Lower West Side.
Kind of imagine my scroll picked up their coffee house cheap because it was ground central for the first Avengers movie.
Oh,
and a lot of stuff got destroyed.
Like warehouse district, like east of Times Square, like 7th, 8th Avenue, which also puts oh no, I was thinking something different. Yeah, that's also a fun place. Basically like south of Hell's Kitchen. Around like Penn Station.
Hell's Kitchen. I have affinity for Hell's Kitchen areas, so that's interesting.
Yeah. Hell's Kitchen's great.
Yeah.
Tis. Coffee shop in Hell's Kitchen, just to use his name. Coffee shop near it. What about you? Has she been kind of quiet? Do you have a particular area? Or Steven?
I don't know New York well enough. I just looked at the map and
I'm in the same boat.
Want to say like
Of all-
warehouse-ish, then we can nail it down later.
Sounds good.
So basically, where the M in the Manhattan, in Midtown Manhattan, kind of like one long block southwest from there, if that makes sense.
So due south of Fogwells.
Yeah, it's like the intersection of Fogwells and Daily Bugle lines.
Nice. Okay, that's very helpful.
Where's this map we're looking at?
It's on the
Oh, factions tab.
Faction. Right.
I just aped Stars in
Oh.
the Dark.
Which Manhattan did we talk about? Because it says Manhattan at least 3 places on this map.
Or it says Midtown Manhattan.
Yeah.
So if you find Fogwell's Gym above Midtown Manhattan and Daily Bugle bottom to the right, take those and draw a point where they would intersect underneath the
Fogwell's
Manhattan.
Gym
That's about
and-
where it is.
Hogwarts Gym, and what was the other one?
Daily
Daily
Bugle.
Bugle.
Daily Bugle. Okay, somewhere in there. So somewhere in the middle of Midtown Manhattan.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
A little bit southeast, southwest a little bit.
Great.
But yeah.
Sounds like a place the GM knows, so I'm
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah. I love that neighborhood.
Heck yeah.
Cool. Let's see. What's up next? Choosing a special ability. Let's see.
Oh, right. Because
Ambassadors,
our team
advanced
gets a special-
comms, blood and sweat, research grants, star chasers, unstable molecules, world's greatest show, synchronized. I remember, I think it was Andesh was saying you like the group action stuff.
Oh, yeah, I like the. Yeah. I don't remember why now. What's that? Sorry.
Hey, Mark, I'm going to use Tinker as my ability to create new magical spells or rituals or whatever. Is that cool?
Cool. Yeah.
Because it doesn't say it's all about tech in the description, but I just
Right.
wanted to make sure that Limbo Tech is still tech. So
So I'm probably going to take Tinker as well for my gadget stuff. So that would be more high tech. We might want to separate those two.
okay.
Do you want to say
Specifically,
that
like
Attune is basically your version of tinkering?
I mean, it feels like double dipping, but sure.
Yeah. I guess it depends on how that works out for you, because fictionally, you decide what ability you're going to use, and then
Yeah, that's
tell me
true.
how that works. So
Sure.
whichever you think works.
I mean, oh, sorry. Unstable molecules kind of fits with what we're talking about doing weird stuff.
Mm.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
I've got a motorcycle in my picture. Maybe I'm also, techie too. I'll take that. That's fun. I didn't think about that. So yeah, like I can rebuild a motorcycle and also, have a ritual to get rid of a demon or something. Which gives you more power, actually, Steven, with your character. If you were
sorry,
to,
in what way?
well, if I'm going to use Tinker for both, like, repairing a motorcycle or, crafting a new spell, then that would allow you to branch into whatever other weird powers you want to as well. It wouldn't be simply just tech.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool.
All right, that's my 4 dots. I chose my special abilities. I've got a rival. I don't have a friend. Oh, the friend is going to be magic. So that's what you said earlier, right, Rich? To be friends with magic, yeah.
I was suggesting it. You don't have to, but
No,
if you're taking me up on it, hooray!
Yeah, no, I'm down for that.
Killer. So do you go by Rain?
Yeah, thank you. All right. How does she spell it again? R-A-H-N-E?
Rahne. Yep.
Yeah.
Got it.
Cool.
I got to think of my character's name.
Yeah.
Just let your mind stretch into it. I don't know if that.
Mark, I was looking at the friend, and I originally chose Janon the artist, but
Mhm.
I kind of want to have a friend who's like either Sam Alexander or Richard Ryder, the Nova. Is that okay?
Sure,
They
yeah.
don't ever have to show up, but like that would be fun for me.
Yeah. Love it.
I'll just put Nova. You can choose whichever one it is. Nova. I love those guys. They haven't gotten enough MCU love, in my opinion. I'll never be satisfied. There's always so much awesome Marvel.
So what do we think for ability? Did we land on one? Sounds like unstable molecules and synchronize were maybe some top choices.
Synchronized
Or
felt like
advanced-
something maybe we get later.
Yeah, or advanced comms maybe.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh man, that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
I like advanced comms.
Yeah. Let's go for that.
Stephen, can I go with that?
Yeah, that sounds good.
What's the choice? I'm sorry.
+1 to teamwork rolls, and you may use teamwork maneuvers with any other team member or cohort, regardless of distance separating you.
Oh yeah, that sounds great. Yeah.
All right,
Is
cool.
teamwork a code word? Are there specifically
Teamwork
teamwork
is
maneuvers?
group moves, helping, and
Setup.
I'm sorry, what was the last one? I couldn't hear.
Setup. When you
Setup.
do an action to improve someone else's
That means you
position
get
later.
+1D to help? Is that right?
No, it's teamwork roles. So it's when you do an action to do a setup, not extra for when you're directly helping someone by paying resilience. We almost never used setup when we played
Yeah.
Stars in the Dark.
Okay.
For various reasons. I think does protection go under teamwork? I don't think so, but
No, I'll look it up.
I'm just trying to understand how advanced comms will come into play.
See, teamwork maneuvers are assist, lead group action, protect, and set up. Yep.
so we
So
can
protect-
do assist on any distance, but it's not otherwise.
Okay.
It's not the extra +1 die for that because you're not making a roll.
And you could potentially protect and do all the other things that Mark just named off from a
at a
distance.
distance somehow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
And we'll figure out what that means. Cool. We have 2 dots to put in upgrades, it looks like.
How would y'all feel if I was a reporter or trying to be a reporter?
Awesome.
You like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, are you trying to be a legit reporter, or are you trying to be like a, National Enquirer kind of reporter?
Ooh.
I think I'm currently freelance and I'm looking for
Oh.
someone to like bring me on full time. So I don't know if I'm MSNBC or Newsmax at this point, but I will bring truth to the people. How about that?
Okay. I wasn't sure if you were like,
there's a part.
I wasn't sure if you're like, I want to be fake stuff and I'm going to put out, yeah. Okay.
Misinformation about the occult.
Well, I mean, like, here's what's actually going on with Bigfoot, but you're not going to believe me. So, one of the reasons I bring it up is because the character Silk is a reporter, or trying to be a reporter, and so I'm going to put her on my potential friends and family list. So,
Cool.
that brings in the more spider stuff.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time with the friends and rivals thing.
Just think of Marvel characters you like and be friends or rivals with them.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
agree.
I did.
True.
Who do you want to see on screen?
Yeah. Cool. I have to think about that.
And also think about context for the team as well. We have, you can choose one of the ones on the list or make up someone new.
Oh, right. Context of the team. I thought you said context, and I'm like,
Oh,
we're doing that.
So I have a question. In our continuity, in our timeline, we're after Endgame.
Yes.
Okay.
Because the snap's been reversed and everybody's back.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would be a hellscape, terrible apocalypse.
Yeah. One of my associates, we choose one friend and one enemy, one positive, one negative from the two groups. Is that correct?
I
Oh,
think
that's
the
a great
two
question.
Our pool, maybe. I'm not sure why they are selected into or separated in two different groups. If that
I
is
think
meaningful.
it's just to group them in some way.
Yeah.
You choose a friend and a razzle.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
I was just aping the character sheet where they broke up friends and family and associates.
Yeah.
It didn't make
And-
Yeah,
sense
I
to
don't
me,
think
but
there's
I
any
just
distinction between them.
did that.
So I put down under my friends and family there was an attorney, and I wanted a negative impression with them.
Nice.
And so I changed the name. I put down Jennifer Walters, which is I think She-Hulk, right?
Mm, Yep.
That
Yep.
sounds
Yeah.
fine.
I was
Yep.
thinking of having Jennifer Walters also, but that's cool actually. If we have, if
'Cause
you
I'm
have
kind of a bit-
then I want to have her as a positive. That's fine.
Okay, great, fantastic. I think I'm kind of a vigilante and go outside the law, and she's serious about going inside the law. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
And then for associates, I put down an instructor with a positive thing, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to put down Tony Stark as a gadgeteer. I'm like, oh nope, that doesn't work. He's gone.
Now,
So who's
go
a
with
good
Riri.
Marvel?
really, yeah.
Ironheart.
I
Or
don't know
Shuri-
anything
Shuri.
about her, but maybe.
Shuri from Wakanda.
Yeah. Those are both good. Okay. Thank you.
Reed Richards.
Are we saying?
Yeah, of course we are.
I went for a really long, stupid, lots of syllables name. I hope no one's mad.
It's just pronounced the way it's spelled, right?
Not
Ahmed Sargalama. Yeah, easy. Are those glottal stops?
In my language, they're not, but this seemed the most logical approximation.
Any thoughts on contact for the team?
Ooh. So is this a contact in the same way it is in Blades? Like it's someone who gives you jobs?
Not necessarily jobs, but someone you can someone that will help in some way or another.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. You can be leaned on for favors or whatever.
I'm big on the Defenders.
Oh, that's true. They're very good. And if we wanted to not have to do any actual investigating, Jessica Jones does that, and she'd just be an NPC.
If she does the investigating and says, "Hey, go imprison that guy," I'm down for it.
You want to put down Jessica Jones as a contact? Super into that.
Or the entire Defenders group.
The entire Defender.
No,
I
it's
would say
supposed to be
pick a
one person.
person. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then Jessica, definitely Jessica.
Yeah. Let's put her under. Let's replace Morgan with her.
Cool.
Jessica.
Also, isn't the Hellfire Club in New York?
Sure is.
Yeah.
it
So we got
is.
like Sebastian Shaw and
Oh, snap.
I'm listening.
We get two
Yeah.
checks for upgrades there too. We've already got one. We got mission space, and we got one check out of two for vehicle.
Hot tamales, this is cool.
A lot of good stuff.
We actually have to name our explorers too.
Oh, I got it. I got it. So when Rain turns into her werewolf character, that's when Satana can take over.
Mm.
Ooh.
It's more like a devil wolf. So yeah.
Are you gonna name yourself Devil Wolf?
There is a devil dinosaur, so
There
you know,
is.
Right.
the president.
Oh, devil wolf sounds
Amazing.
It does. So Marvel.
I mean, if you do it in a different language or something, like I don't know what it would be in Spanish.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, she's Scottish and Catholic, so
Ah, okay.
Oh man, what is Devil Wolf in Gaelic?
Yeah.
Diabal Madi Khalid.
I'm sure it's one of those things where it's like, my name is actually what? And they're like, what does that mean? They're like, devil wolf. Then why don't you use devil wolf? Shut up.
Yeah, wolf is a long word in Gaelic. Wow. How was that pronounced?
Which sounds like a bad idea because, when you want to tell somebody, careful, wolf,
Right.
Too late. Yeah.
Right. Can someone update my profession drop down so that I can type in? Oh, there it is. Is that where I do it? Report. Nope. Oh, I can add it to the drop down list. I see now. Very cute. Very cute.
Yeah, they totally changed data validations, and I'm still struggling with it
Hmm.
a little bit whenever I have to make weird changes and stuff.
Et voila. Reporter is my profession. This is a crazy character. I love her so much.
Cool. So I think we're down to team upgrades and name.
I mean, we could be the explorers with just the X, but we aren't mutant. So
I'm sorry, Mark. You said we needed name, and what was the other thing?
Upgrades.
2 checks for upgrades.
And it's the usual 1 upgrade or 2 of the other one.
Yeah. Or throw 2 in a mastery. Or hardened, I guess.
I don't think we'll be starting with any cohorts, right?
Probably. Unless you want to. That's. Or I don't know if there's. Yeah, you're not starting with any cohorts. You're right.
So we're looking at that section says HQ resources training,
Yeah.
and we get
and
two.
the team upgrades to the left of it too there.
Okay, so it's either 1 team upgrade or 2 of the white section.
Yeah, just 2.
Okay.
Dang,
Good
connected
checks.
plus 2 free contacts that can help. Does that mean
That's
we
really good.
add 2 more contracts
Yeah.
or context? Ooh.
Dang. That would really help us build stories quickly.
Yeah.
I'm in for that.
I am not against it.
Cool. Steve and Rich.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Cool. Connected.
Do you want to have? I know that both Kai and I have thrown in a lot of our fan casting and favorites from Marvel Comics. So, in addition, Steven, do you have
right.
Marvel characters you'd like to stick in there for context for us?
Please.
So I did put in, as far as my contacts, I did put in Reed Richards and Jennifer Walters.
Nice.
Oh,
So-
that's true. You did do
Yeah.
J. Walt. Good call, by the way. Have
Yeah,
you
and
seen
I put-
She-Hulk?
I have.
Cool. I liked
You're
it.
climbing out of the Zoom window to.
I put Daredevil as my rival, assuming I lost some job he was on.
Yes.
Yay.
I think having a time traveler, because it's on the list, having a time traveler as a contact seems fun. But the only Marvel one I know of is Cable, and actually, Marvel Girl she's like, isn't she?
Oh, right.
Like the
Yeah.
second
She's the
Marvel
daughter
Girl.
of, yeah.
And of course, there's the
Victor Von Doom. Apparently a time traveler as well.
maybe stay away from him. There's the Kitty Pryde when she comes back in, but that's kind of a specific thing.
Trust me, do not search Marvel Comics time travelers.
Yeah,
'cause
just did that.
evidently there are a lot.
Everyone.
What about Destiny?
Destiny's
Ooh.
interesting.
Didn't Destiny see things for the future or have visions and
Yeah,
all that kind of stuff? Yeah. Meaning, I think she, like in Days of Future Past, she knew who Kitty Pryde was and different weird things like that. So
yeah.
But
Is her
also,
name Irene Adler?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I mean, Destiny fits in with the whole like occult vibe sort of thing, kind of.
That would be
Even
amazing.
if she's a mutant, she's.
Also, I would really love if you wanted like a variant Loki.
Oh, that's super cool.
Mm.
Like Sylvie or Alligator Loki, who has his own comic.
Frog Loki.
Yeah, the phone comic for Alligator, he never speaks, and Thor keeps trying to like bring him to parties and events so that he'll become more socialized, and he does not become more socialized. He's just a straight up dick over and over and over.
He just bites people. That's all he does.
He bites, or he tries to steal the hammer, or like he just, if somebody's having fun, he's going to ruin it. So he's
Nice.
fun to watch. But yeah, variant Loki would be so cool.
Yeah.
To call in your Asgardian nature.
Or whatever you want.
Yeah.
But whatever you want. Yeah, please, absolutely.
I'm just gonna check here. Right in Loki, a time traveler, and then it's one of the
Yeah.
Lokis.
Could be any.
Yeah, we don't know.
Oh. Old Loki, as played by Richard E. Grant. God, he brought more coolness to that role than he deserved, and I loved it. He lifted the entire show, put it on his shoulders for like 2 episodes. So good.
So I looked up some random team names and I'm putting them in the chat right now.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, thank you. Hazard Custodians is cute, but it will make me think of Hazard County. So
Oh.
Reformation Rangers. It feels very blaxploitation for some reason.
At one point in my life, in real life, someone asked me like what I did, and I screwed up. You know, I was trying to say like a bean counter or a data cruncher, so I said I was bean cruncher. And since we have like this coffee thing going on, but I mean we're here to like if the prison thing is a central focus of it. If it is, it doesn't have to be. If it is, then you know, I just don't want to be associated with like cops.
Yeah.
I don't want any of that. So
I kind of like the Hazard Custodians, but we could combine some of the other names like Defiance Custodians.
Or just the Custodians.
Yeah, the Custodians is good.
I like it with 2 S's too. Fuck you, we're the Custodians. Sorry.
I didn't notice that. The epitomes.
In the movie, the specials, the group is broken up, and Jamie Kennedy is trying to think what he's going to do, and he's the former villain, you know, and he's like, we're going to regroup, and I got a new name for the group. We're gonna be the Fuck Kills. And she's like, the woman he's talking to is like, what? He's like, you fuck with us, we kill you. The Fuck Kills.
Descriptive, yes.
So we have a mission space in our HQ. I'm not sure what that means. And we have a vehicle.
You have one tick towards the vehicle, yeah.
I think.
Oh,
that
we
means
have to fill out the second one to
vehicle,
get
but
it?
it's not a super great one.
Oh, maybe.
If it's like in
Let's see.
regular Blade.
Mhm.
Vehicle. If you take this upgrade a second time, you have two such vehicles and a larger hangar.
Yeah, so you do start off with a vehicle.
Nice. How toyetic is it?
A what?
There's a phrase called toyetic.
Ah, okay. How much toy?
How much can this be made into a plastic toy for kids
Yep.
to buy?
How action figurable is it?
I remember an animated series that was canceled because it was not toyetic enough.
Mm.
It was one of the stated reasons in the article I read, and it Symbiotic Titans, I think, was the show. If you've ever seen that, I thought it was pretty cool.
And we all remember that there's a bunch of different
He-Man
shows
heads.
or comics that only exist because they were toys.
Yeah.
So like I remember Crystar,
Mhm.
right? The Crystal Warrior, which was an
Yep.
old toy that they made just to fit in with a comic book, right? So on the whole
Right.
Micronauts.
Yeah.
Right, Micronauts. Or ROM, right?
Rom,
Rom.
the Space Knight, yeah.
Space Knight.
Which they've rebooted, I think, 10
Really?
years ago or so.
But I don't think they can have ROM. I think they can use the whole Space Knight thing. But due to some weird rights, they couldn't actually. I don't know. I remember reading something about it. Where
It's interesting because the only thing I know about ROM is that right before Forge gathers everybody together to lock chaos away from the world, and there's like this big demon fight in Dallas, and then all the X-Men sacrifice themselves to do the thing. The things that they're fighting are the creatures that the Space Knights fight. Like that was who they were,
Oh,
whatever they were called. So they weren't just like regular demons; they were like, you know, ROM's demons. But you know, they didn't have
That's
to mention
wicked.
ROM because Forge was hired by the government to like work on equipment specifically against those demons. So it was very interesting.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Minutia
So-
in the weeds. I'm calling
Weeds.
I'm gonna weed myself here.
So for mission space, it says your headquarters has a space set up to support the team's missions and long-term projects. And
Mhm.
for explorers, this could mean an advanced holographic map chamber or artifact handling lab. So it's something related to the kinds of jobs we usually do. But I don't want that to step on Kai's ritual space thing.
Right.
Oh, that could be in the basement.
What were you wanting, Andish?
No, we get the mission space automatically for being explorers.
Mission space. Got it.
When
Maybe
we
there's-
say explorers, are we talking about like we're going into alternate timelines, alternate multiverse to
Well,
some weird
the subportion of
limbo?
that says seekers of truth and knowledge.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so we don't have to be going
No,
otherwise.
Yeah, and the team specialty at the bottom is exploration, diplomacy, research, detection. So it might be just like hunting down cool or bad or weird things,
or alerting other people, right? Like,
Yeah.
For instance, when there was this big monster invasion because there was a mutant kid that could draw monsters and they would appear. And there was just this big problem with it, whatever. But like the key thing was just reading the comic as they were coordinating across the world. Like, all right, Storm, you're going to Europe, and Thor, you're going to Africa, and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And it's like that would be kind of neat to, you know, basically have like the holographic Death Star except it's Earth.
Right.
Yeah, and if because we talked about the Chitauri invasion in New York, if we want to tie it into that, then there could be more people like, I mean, more remains of that could need investigating or finding,
Mhm.
that sort of
Researching and
thing.
handling. Yeah.
More people like Vulture who use it for their own, use that tech for their own ends.
Oh,
Mhm.
right. Yeah, the Batman Vulture. What's
Yeah.
his
Michael
name?
Keaton.
No, I was thinking
Keaton, yeah.
the Spider-Man Vulture in the movie. He
Yeah.
built his
Oh,
suit.
that one. Yeah, I was thinking of the one from the newer Spider-Man
Yeah,
one.
I think you're talking about the same one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he said Batman because it's Batman.
Michael Keaton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That
But
was
like, you
true.
know, it's like what was it? So Deadpool included the Avengers continuity by having a helicarrier be the spot for the final conflict. And, you know, Vulture used some Stark technology and stuff like that. I thought the way they keep just integrating it in one of the recent
It's
comics,
great. Love it.
someone's going to Starbucks, but it's called Stark Bucks. Um, so there's just different ways of integrating it all. Um,
I've
this is
stolen your
amazing.
idea for the caffeine hazard. That will be the name of our coffee shop.
Oh, that's great.
You like that? Okay. Because
Yeah,
I kind of
okay.
wanted I wanted our team name to have the word hazard in it somehow. Like biohazard is a fun word because like first of all it makes me think of Resident Evil, but I was like, well, what is an adjective or a prefix that's kind of like bio but for something else, you know, like mana hazard or something like that. But then I was just like, caffeine hazard is a great name for a coffee shop, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. Hey, what if we just call ourselves the Watchers?
It's been taken.
Has it? Okay.
Yeah, by the Watchers.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Kind of
Like
a-
maybe there's a reason why we're called the Watchers. Like, did something happen to Uatu or whatever? Or like, is he with us? Like, I don't know.
It's
He's got a
contact.
big he's got a big head, but maybe he can fit in at some point. Um,
We could tie the name to Manhattan or New York in some way, or the neighborhood.
right.
Be the neighborhood watch if we want to do the watch.
God. Yes, but
Which will be funny when you expand tier.
right.
Our
I love
neighborhood got bigger.
Right. I think it'll
So
come to
looking
it.
at the various team thing options, and some of them have mechanics tied to them, and some don't.
Hmm.
Like a sacred nexus gives +1 die to healing treatment rolls. Okay, that's weird, but
Huh. Yeah. And you can stack that with an infirmary. Interesting. A hidden secure vault. The usual there.
you could probably reflavor that as something different.
Yeah. Ancient artifact is fun. Energy well.
Energy well. Nice. I could be addicted to using the energy well. Have to fight off that addiction.
It gives you +1 to attune rolls on site.
What? That's exactly what I need. So I shouldn't have it. I mean, yeah, if we're choosing resources, the top 2 on the list are definitely there.
Ooh, Castaways is interesting. I
Yeah.
agree with Undish.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Kind
Castaways
of
could be
fits
interesting.
with multiple of us, like the Skrull
Mhm.
from
Yeah.
space, and I'm from Asgard, and
He's from Rich.
yeah.
From Wealth.
Oh,
Castaway
okay,
from
it
Wealth.
doesn't work for everyone.
Well, it's not him we're worried about. It's the volleyball, Wilson. He's the castaway, right?
Is Wilson the logo that we have on all of our team uniforms?
Oh, Lord.
Oh.
Oh, no, please no. Because then it just looks like a bloody hand at that point, and that's just not the
Yeah.
image I want to project.
Yeah. We need one more contact and one more upgrade thing,
Yep.
or actually 2 if we're looking at the
Oh wow. Okay.
things.
For context, let's glance at the NPCs that are currently out there and see if there are any that really appeal to us.
Also, I
Already
don't
got
know that,
Jessica Jones.
yeah, I don't know that Mark has actually put his input into it, right? Like we've been putting our input to it.
Oh yeah.
What do you want, Mark?
I want to roll with whatever y'all have. So
I know, but like,
it's great.
What's a character that you definitely want to see on screen?
Oh, who do I want to see on screen? Man. I mean, I'm always a big fan of Howard the Duck. He's probably going to show up at some point.
Idea Hive is already there, which is where his office supposedly is
yeah.
in at least a couple comics.
Old X-Men, New Mutant stuff is always good fun for me. Fantastic Four related folks. Yeah, wow, I hadn't thought about that.
I'm kind of wary about the FF currently, since we know they will show up in the MCU at some point.
It's gonna be
but we
like
don't
2-3
know
years,
how.
man.
Yeah, I think we'll.
Yeah, that's true.
We will have it.
Yeah, cool.
Fun show.
Strike my comment.
I hear you're concerned, but I don't think they're gonna touch it until it's a big movie, and I think it's gonna be a while.
Yeah, that's true.
What if we had a shield contact?
Oh,
Interesting.
That's very cool.
What is the current status of Shield?
Yeah, right.
I'm not sure.
Depends on the comic or the movie universe, right?
Yeah. Maria Hill was the
yes.
latest commander, right?
How about Wong?
Oh,
Ooh.
or Madison.
Yeah, or Madison. Oh my god.
So
Wong would definitely fit in with Jennifer Walters there.
Yep.
Okay. I haven't seen the Shang-Chi movies. Is Shang-Chi in New York?
Current.
He's a West Coast. Farmer use West Coast.
Yeah, he's
West
San
Coast,
Francisco.
Okay.
But might also be off in Cumberland.
Or Cumberland.
Another possible contact could be Nightcrawler. That could tie into the magic, all that kind of stuff.
There's just a lot of fun characters in general.
Yeah.
True.
What if we are really close to one of those? Okay, well, weeds here, but maybe we're close to one of those portals to Krakoa, and people come to get coffee before they go to Krakoa.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no. That's cute.
Okay.
That's weeds and that's comics, and I'd say no.
Okay, cool.
MCU is hard enough to keep up with. MCU plus the craziness that is X-Men right now.
Comics are so crazy.
Could we have someone who's kind of a villain, but not really a villain.
Right.
Villain.
Right.
Mm.
Ooh. I'm hearing you.
Punisher.
Venom.
Shitbags.
Venom.
Deadpool.
Deadpool
Loki.
was. Yeah. Well, we
It's
already have
also-
Loki on the. We already have Loki on
Yeah.
the check marked.
Yeah, that's true.
Are there villains from Shield?
Ooh. What if we tie in
Hydra. Viper.
Man Thing or
Ooh.
the Werewolf at Night dude?
Oh,
Jack.
I mean, I love Elsa Bloodstone. I really
Yeah,
love the.
Bloodstones.
I mean, Bloodstone's on my list of like my personal list. I put her down for associates. Excuse me. I don't have a relationship with her at this point, but
Baron
I mean-
Zemo?
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah, I was thinking like who might be a good tie-in for Steven's character with like a more like society wealth
Oh, right.
connection. Zemo
Right.
might not be bad for that.
Oh, like what's them?
Or what's her name?
New
Elaine.
Hawkeye. Her family was kind of socialite,
Yeah.
rich people.
Oh, you're talking about Hawkeye?
Yeah.
Oh. I mean,
So
I really
she's-
love the new I really love the new Hawkeye. I'll tell you that.
Kate Bishop. She's
Uh,
already in the NPC tabs.
Yeah.
Valentina Fontaine.
ooh. She's terrible and awesome.
What's
Yeah.
that?
Elaine from Seinfeld.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, she's organizing the new Thunderbolts, right?
Yep.
Oh, is she?
She is. Yep.
Oh, dang.
It's I don't know if it's this phase that's coming up.
Oh,
but yeah.
she's the current director of the CIA.
Womp womp.
Which,
I'm gonna push for Kate Bishop, Hawkeye.
I'm cool with that.
And the family, right? Like all the
Yeah,
connections of
yeah.
yeah.
The bishops.
Mhm.
So
Do it-
maybe it's more of an antagonistic contact because it's a contact through her family and she's not real happy. Right? Isn't she on the outs with them, at least according to the show?
Yeah.
So who would be do you want to be a contact with her or someone in her family?
The sword guy.
The sword guy.
Swordsman? The shoot.
Yeah.
What is
yeah.
his name?
Because he's like, he
Lalo.
does all
Jack Duquesne? Jack Duquesne?
Yes,
Yeah.
please. Because he's in that rich stuff. He goes to parties and
That would be super fun. I would be super into that.
Jack sounds awesome.
is that two weeds for anybody else, Andish, Steven?
No.
No.
Someone rich was faster than me. That was just
How about you,
about
Steven?
about the
Are you
same
familiar
No,
range.
that's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Cool.
don't know a whole lot about him, but I can figure it out. I mean, I
All
saw
I,
the
all,
I
all
saw
I know is
the
the
Yeah,
TV show.
there's not
Yeah.
much to him, which is great.
Right.
So we can play with a lot.
Man, what a
I'm
great actor. I love him.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's so fun.
How do you spell Duquesne? D-U-S-Q.
D-U-Q,
It's
I'll look
in
it up.
the chat.
carry
Yeah,
the
it's in
one.
chat.
There's math involved, right?
That's Quinny.
I'll put his pick in a sec. I'm working on it now.
So do we add him as a contact?
Yeah, I'm adding right now. D-U-Q-U-E-S-N-E.
The Squeen.
S-N-E. D-U-Q-U-E-S-N-E.
Oh, we have Typhoid Mary? Oh, goodness.
Well, I just moved over the NPCs from our play-by-plus, so
Okay.
she's there.
Yeah. I don't know if y'all read any of Mark Miller stuff. So.
Cool. So we're down to the last upgrade and the team name.
Yeah, so we need, I don't think any of the other upgrades make sense. So we're looking at the stuff on the right with the HQ
Yeah.
resources training. I mean, training is always useful, but it's also kind of boring.
Right. Does pay off in spades, though.
Yeah, yeah. It's good. I think it's good if we can come up with anything else that we really want, then it's useful.
Maybe the Colleen and Misty might be able to train us or something like that.
Mm. Heroes for hire. That's hot.
So I have a question. What does the HQ secure thing do?
It means
Is there a
have,
mechanical input?
Secure has locks, alarms, and traps to thwart intruders.
Okay. The reason I ask
or-
is because
yeah.
if we have a prison,
Hmm.
it might want to be secure.
yeah.
What? Okay.
A second upgrade improves the defenses to include arcane measures to thwart magicians and extra-dimensional incursions, as well as a tachyon
Tachyon
dam to
dam.
protect against time travelers. So,
Fair.
you know.
And I imagine the prison itself has some of those defenses, but maybe the
Yeah.
headquarters could use some of that too. How do we feel about securing the headquarters?
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right.
I think the character says, yes, let's do the security, but the player's like, no, I want that training. I want that extra ticks.
Right?
Yeah. I'm good.
Right.
Cool.
Yep.
Who
So
are
we
we?
need one more of those, right?
Nope, we've got two, right? We got connected and secure.
Yeah, but the stuff on the right, you get two.
Oh, yeah. Yep. You're right.
What does Vault do?
More money.
For
Or you
money.
can store more
Well, no,
money,
I
which
mean-
is so weird.
There's an upgrade on the left for vaults, but on the right, there's a second vault under HQ.
Yeah, on the left, the vaults there is just where you show how much
Oh,
your-
okay.
you unlock those spaces
see.
by taking the ones on the right. And this is so this is one of the things that doesn't work for me here with the resources and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I agree. That was something I was struggling with when I was running mine as well. Like, we're not trying to get out of the business and have a retirement fund and stuff like that.
Oh, it looks like you do only take 2 ticks altogether. If I'm reading this right.
Oh, okay. They
Yeah,
changed that.
each team has 2 pre-selected upgrades. Choose 2 more. And that includes both the upgrade things and
okay.
resource stuff. Yeah. Makes
Then
it easy.
we're done. Yes.
Yeah, just need a name.
I'm still with Cast. Well, we did take it into a dark place with Castaways, so maybe we should.
But no. I
look
mean,
at that.
I think Castaways is fine. We can do that. Castaways. And then Kai said singularities.
Hmm.
The word bound is coming to mind. Like, you bind someone in a prison, but like boundaries and stuff like that. I don't know. It's just
Binders.
Wardens, something wardens.
like in the prison complex system in that one, but
Yeah, or even like the
Yeah.
warding.
I'm
of a
also
boundary.
partial to custodians.
Yeah,
Yeah,
custodians
custodians is
could
nice
work.
too.
Like the ephemeral custodians. I keep thinking of the Outsiders as a group dealing with the weird, so that's where my head goes. Just be the custodians for now.
Yeah, let's go with custodians, and if we don't like
Yeah.
it, we can change it.
And I can see that, we start out as the custodians because we're we have that prison. And, but as we go up in tier, maybe our team name changes to something
Custodians
that's a
of the
little bit more
Galaxy.
prestigious. Yeah.
how
The
about
sprites! The Shadow Cats. Sorry.
I know we've agreed on custodians, but the word Cerberus means to like guard like an entrance. It's also the three-headed dog.
Mhm.
I don't know, something about Cerberus, the Cerberus agency or something like that would be in my head. I have lots of things in my head.
That makes me feel a little Mass Effecty, so maybe not.
Was it in there?
Mm.
Ugh.
Yeah.
There's also the Cerberus.
You have to make that
Club.
noise.
Well, it's an entire thing that I was like 100 hours worth of gaming that I would have to get into to understand it. I was like, God damn it. Pardon my language.
Let's see, team upgrades. I think that is it. I think we have made all our stuff. Boom, yeah. All right. Anything else we want to
Well, what's our history?
add?
How did we get together?
Yeah. How did we get together?
Who started this?
Are
Well, we
there
met in a
Bond questions in
bar.
here?
Are there? I don't think
I
there
don't
are.
think there are. I would love there to be.
Should be, but there aren't.
Maybe we can. Maybe I'll come up with something, and then we'll make that part of the like.
You mean like
Set it.
Dungeon World style?
Yeah, ish.
Okay.
I stole a bunch from what was the game? Rich, what was the game that you ran Farscape in?
Impulse Drive?
I think so. And it had really good
Yeah, I remember that. Not for the game, but the connection
Impulse
questions.
Drive? Yeah, Impulse Drive
yeah.
has some cool.
I
We
forget
can
what
always
they
so
call it.
excited. We have Loki, Jessica Jones, and Jack Duquesne as our contacts, and that just I just
nuts.
it's just, that
We
was good.
we could steal the questions from Monster Hearts. That would
No.
Asks, I guess. Yeah.
You want everyone to have screwed or screwed each other over?
in the sexual sense, yeah. Anyway.
I do like the idea of some kind of Bond type questions.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going to go with a name that came from a mispronunciation because I was looking at different things for a name around the outsider being able to shapeshift the scroll part of it. And I was like remix, shift, warp, and I looked in different languages for those words. And then I was going with remix, and then I thought reminx kind of amuses me because it's different. It's got some SEO in my brain space. It's not something I've seen before, and it sounds just wrong enough for someone who doesn't understand people as well to go, yes, remix. Like
Remix.
yes,
Yeah.
remix. That's mine. That's
Cool.
bad. Are you making that face again? Oh my lord, the Satana action figure. Look at that collar.
Ridic.
Where are you seeing the Satana action figure?
Satana's action figure. Link in Zoom chat
In
from
chat
Kyle.
there.
Oh,
Yep, that is a thing.
I am very excited about this crew.
Yeah.
and this is cool.
Yeah, there's so much to play with. Awesome. Yeah, I've got plenty to work with here. Not worried at all. Anything else we want to add? Let's do relationshipy bondy stuff as part of play in the first episode, I guess. And then we'll anything else we want to add while we're here to talk about?
I'm struggling right now a little bit with powers and how to set them up and how to not make them, how to have specific versus general powers.
Yeah.
So let me give you some examples. I think a generic power would be extreme wealth. I think a specific version of that would be to call upon that wealth in order to make a purchase, or hey, yes, we need a new, we need repairs to the vehicle, for example. So I could use that as a simple power.
Right.
Gadgeteer is another general power, I think, and I put down Gadgeteer. I've built a gadget for that as a mastered power, but I think as a simple power, I have down build a new gadget.
So for your wealth thing, since you're spending resilience, your resilience is kind of acting like your wealth. What if it's like connections, or I don't know? It's not a superpower.
There's resources you can draw on. So like Batman would be like, I can build a new vehicle. I can get what's his name to build me some new technology or whatever.
It's almost like
Or-
you need your own minions or something.
Well, and I think that
I think for the gadgeteering thing, it should be a bit more specific. I think build a new gadget is kind of what a gadgeteer is. So it should be do some specific thing with a gadget, like a sensor or something like that, maybe.
so I think what I put down, the thing I'd like to avoid is like, oh, I want to build a new weapon. That's a project. That's a downtime project. Oh, I built a new car or a new vehicle. That's another downtime project. It's so many ticks. I don't think that's right. And I like the idea of spending resilience. It's not something that would happen. Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to do it.
And remember, just because you can do the powers, you still have to roll for it. So you.
Oh, of course.
So take a look at my character sheet. Under analyst, that might be something that is describing what you're looking for. During downtime, distribute 2 ticks among project clocks involving investigation. Yours would just be involving like acquisitions or something like that.
And I think the tech character has.
Okay.
That's more
Sorry,
similar to that.
I didn't think about that. Yeah. Okay. Sorry to cut you off, Mark.
No, you're good. Yeah. So the thing that you can do is the thing that you can do. It has that effect, but you still need to make an action roll for that. So that could still have consequences and effects.
Yes.
Yeah. So you can't just like crank out gadgets all day because that's the thing you can do. Like those are going to have things happening.
That's right. Because you've got to roll for it and there's some consequence to it.
That's true. Because the powers are about the fictional positioning.
Yep.
But then you do the roll to do the thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So that lets you being able to leap tall buildings allows you to jump across the city. What happens as a result of that is a consequence of the mechanics.
Right. I need to read up more of the examples on the powers before I can.
Yeah. And they're also, we'll flex and play with them as we need to.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is the part where Kai and I kind of, or at least I stumbled.
Yeah.
So,
Like one of my abilities was just like knock out a dude, and like a regular dude or something like that, and it's just like, but that's a roll, or is it?
Right.
Can I just flat knock out a guy that I'm in they cut in line at the restaurant, and I just punch him and move on or something like that, or just I don't know.
So that's a great example. So from my perspective, what I'm seeing for this is how to hit to knock out someone, and you roll. So you've mastered that. Then you would roll to see how well you executed your knowledge in order to knock that person out.
And what happens in the world as a result of that. Like you punch someone out cutting in front of you in line. Do you get away with it or not?
Yeah. The way it's stated in the book is that the power gives you fictional positioning to do something.
Yeah.
And there's even an example using Daredevil. I'll drop it into chat.
Thank you.
They provide fictional positioning so your character is able to do something they normally wouldn't be able to do.
Yeah, exactly.
The part where it still confuses me just a little bit is it factors into whether you can pick up the dice at all to make an action roll. Does that mean no matter what your power is, you're going to have to make an action roll? It seems like it's saying that, right?
I mean, I guess it again depends on the positioning, right? Like, so a normal person can't punch out a bear, but you might be able to just because of your power. And then whether you need to roll or not depends on what the context of that is.
And then
Yeah,
the very next sentence says, sorry, understand
No, go ahead.
this thought. In the very next sentence, in the next paragraph, it says, when your character's just starting out and still learning about their capabilities, you'll need to pay resilience to use your powers and gain fictional positioning in the game.
Mhm.
So it sounds like as we go, and I do like that there's a mechanical improvement based off the actual roll results.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, you've unlocked that. You know how to do that. You won't have to pay resilience to try it.
So I figure it's like if we take the example with a bear, then someone who has super strength or whatever, they could say, I fight the bear, I punch out the bear.
Mhm.
And then which would enable them to roll skirmish, to fight the bear or smash or whatever, but make an action roll to just straight up fight the bear.
Right. Or if it was, Superman or Hyperion or whatever.
Yeah.
Like if he's punching a bear, you probably don't need to roll for it.
Yeah.
Well, what you roll for with characters like Superman is not do you do it, is like, does this help or hurt the situation of the people you're trying to save?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But if it's someone who doesn't have a power that's appropriate to fight a bear, then they probably can't
then they
fight
just
the
get
bear.
eaten.
They have to figure out something else to do.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So I have an idea for, as we're thinking about our characters, I'll put it in the link in Zoom, is here. Maybe just find a random comic book that you didn't know about or something like that. And you're like, what if my character was in that book, right? Then you look at what happened in that book and you'd be like, oh, I was a part of this.
This is the role. Yeah.
This scenario, or something like that. And then that would give you like people people you like and don't like, or something like that. And it gives you a prompt instead of just being like the whole Marvel universe in your head. Right.
Mhm.
So like I just ran it and I was like, I saw a Marvel comic that I'd never heard of before, and I was like, oh wow, okay. Luna Snow, the K-pop star / superhero from South Korea. I'm like, now I know.
I'm looking for that on my screen, and it of course is not there because it is random.
Because it's random, right?
So with the powers, one of the difficulties I have is separating generic from specific. So in the example of the bear, fighting a bear is very specific, right?
Yeah,
right. I think you don't need to be
that
that specific. Yeah. I think the specific power then is like, describing your fighting ability or style,
which would be superhuman strength.
Yeah.
Is that specific enough? That sounds generic to me.
Yeah. I
then,
don't know how to do the example with the bear.
Because that's really hard. It's like, oh, can I
general.
lift an airplane? Can I break this? Can I punch through a wall? Like each one of those is specific, and that's way too granular.
Right.
There are some examples in the book, but I don't think there are enough of them.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you had like supernatural strength and say like kung fu, those are broad, right? But then you could define like, I can kick a guy, I can, throw a guy over my shoulder with the kung fu, and then the strength is like, I knock down the wall to chase after them. I'm the juggernaut. And does that help, Stephen? I don't know. Like I'm having trouble too.
Yeah.
That sounds too specific to me.
It feels like there's kind of like an unspoken middle zone that we're expected to do.
So like,
it's not well defined, I don't think.
Yeah.
Are there actual plays we can watch?
That's what I was just thinking about looking up, see if I can find something.
Yeah.
Rich, were you going to say something?
Well, I started to say a thing, and then I went to look at the simple, difficult, and borderline, and they are they're almost scale based. So let me share screens and we can take a look. So for this one, at first I was saying, oh, it's just powers, just like look in the Marvel wiki, super strength, super speed, super senses. Okay, boom. But then when you try to define it into things you can do, there's throw a car half a block away.
Right.
Hold up a crumbling 4-story building. Move at the speed of light for a few seconds. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure about it.
Yeah, and I don't think
a few seconds. You'd be across the universe.
Right.
I don't think those, the way I read those isn't that throw a car half a block away is like the exact specific definition.
It's like
oh no,
stuff
you're
like
trying to
this.
throw a car a quarter of
Yeah.
a block away. You can't do that. It's like, or you're trying to throw a safe half a block away. That a safe is different from a car. You have
Right.
It's like the general throw a big heavy thing a rough distance, but
Yeah.
this is a tricky part of the game, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a tricky part of the game, and I feel like it's a thing where maybe if we lean a little bit on things we've learned from masks,
Mm-hmm.
it might help. I feel like it's easier to understand when you just list the powers, and it becomes harder to understand when you try to break them into simple, difficult, and borderline. That's the
Yeah.
part where I'm getting tripped up.
I think maybe we can also think of it in like, how often do these things show up in the movies or in the comics? Like if it's something that the character that a character does like every page or every fight, then it's probably simple. If it's something that, oh, this is the cool thing they do this issue, then it's probably difficult. And if it's something they do like once or twice in their career, it's a borderline thing. Like I don't know. Like if Johnny Storm is throwing fire at someone, then that's simple.
Mm-hmm.
If he's doing a Nova Blast, maybe that's difficult. And if he's burning the unburnable fire immune thing, maybe that's
He's hurting Galactus. Would be the
yeah,
third one.
yeah. I don't know if that's useful at all.
It does. It helps a little bit.
I'm just looking for a good list of superhero powers.
I found like one, maybe two actual plays at all. So I'll take a look at those this week and see if.
Well, that's good news. It means there's one more, right?
Yeah. The top hit.
About to be
I think
one more.
I could actually only feel one. Let's see. Galaxies in Peril Live. Ooh, this is the only one I can find. We'll see.
What do you imagine your character's past, Steven?
So I think that I haven't decided yet. I'd like to figure out more of that during play. I don't think it's a tragic I don't think it's a tragic background like Batman, where he's super scarred. But I think it's more along the lines of I'm kind of leaning towards the legacy aspect of he's trained. He's been trained this way.
It was trained like in a Ra's al Ghul Batman kind of way?
I think
Or
more along the lines of in a familial way.
Are your family also heroes?
It's a good question. I think so. Right now, the direction I'm leaning is yes.
Yeah.
But maybe we're tired, and maybe I'm supposed to take over. I've been trained, and this is my first steps to taking over for them.
Cool.
Yeah.
Love it.
So is it, have they trained you to be a hero, or have they trained you and you're using your knowledge to be a hero?
I think they have trained me to be a protector, and a protector of, this area. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. We are just about running up on time, it looks like. Anything else you want to talk about before we check out?
I haven't been this excited about a role-playing game in a very, very long time.
Yeah, that's gonna be sweet.
Same. Cool. You good for me to bring it to a close? I'll close the recording.
Cool.
All right. Thanks
Bye.
all. Thanks, Mark, for leading this.
Yeah.